What's up, guys? This is Bolt Struck with Duck, and 3 division games, 3 wins. Chargers are 3-0, undefeated, and this is right after the victory over the Denver Broncos. That was a weird game because it's like the Chargers felt like they were in control until they weren't. Obviously, that horrible Alohi Gilman play to end the half gave up the long touchdown. Alohi Gilman has been such a frustrating player to watch because he'll, force a fumble every once in a while. He'll make a big play, but it seems like every other game he's due for like giving up a 50-yard touchdown. It just seems like a low IQ football player. Maybe it's a high risk, high reward, like he's a ball hawk style player, which is why he can force turnovers, but can also give up the big plays. Just a weird player where it's like I don't even really know what's going on. So that was a big mistake. And yeah, just a momentum shifter because it felt like despite only a 10-point lead, it felt like the Chargers were totally in control of the game. And then obviously the Broncos marched back down and scored. Also, on a side note, kind of a bummer allowing J.K. Dobbins to go off like that because they had him in check that entire first half, and then he had that big run, which, by the way, it looked like his lead blocker held on that play. That should have gotten called back. And then he obviously ended up scoring the touchdown on that pass as well, that first drive of the second half. And again, just kind of a bummer because I know, J.K. Dobbins looked like he was celebrated to the Chargers fans on that. And not that I hold anything against J.K. Dobbins, but just the fact that, again, it looked like he was trying to show off, and he hadn't done anything up until that point, and then he got some big plays. But other than that, the big thing was just the Chargers offensive line looked horrendous. Joe Alt looked bad. Mekhi Becton looked bad, went out with an injury. Trey Pipkins looked bad, went out with an injury. And yeah, just none of the O line looked good. Herbert was getting pressured constantly. I saw people on Twitter talking about how Herbert wasn't playing well. It's like, dude was pressured on probably 65% of his dropbacks. It was crazy, just horrendous. The blocking schemes were bad. They were having tight ends trying to block edges. And what's the deal with the Scott Matlock thing? Is like, for being a team that has so many smart coaches, how is Scott Matlock still employed? It's just they think that because he plays D tackle and fullback that makes him valuable. But if you're a bad fullback and you're a bad D tackle, just the fact that you can do both but poorly doesn't mean you should be on the team. It's just baffling. Get a real fullback. And speaking of which, speaking of the backfield, obviously Najee Harris going down is horrible. I mean, I was saying in the last video that Najee Harris had clearly won the running back one battle. O'Marion Hampton had been looking horrible. And same thing in this game. Hampton looked horrible. One of my first thoughts with Najee Harris watching today's game is, boy, does he fall forward well. Like, he'll get stopped, and wherever the contact is made, he'll get an extra yard and a half. Hampton's the opposite. Where he's stopped, he falls straight down or backwards. Najee Harris, it's like he falls or he gets stopped and then falls about a yard and a half forward. Hampton has to get better at that. Coincidentally, as soon as Najee Harris went down, Hampton stepped it up and ended up playing the rest of the game really well. So hopefully that's just what he needed, is to know that he has to put the team on his back. And yeah, he ended the game really strong, but that is concerning. If it's as bad as it looked, the Chargers will have to go out and look for running backs because they really have no more on the roster after Hampton. So, a name people have floated out is like an Alvin Kamara. So we'll see if there's any validity to that, see if that's possible, but they got to sign someone for sure. And let's just hope Mekhi Becton, Trey Pipkins are okay because, the right tackle they put in there, I couldn't even repeat that guy's name back to you. I've never heard of him in my life. That's how few linemen are left on this roster. That's how bad the O-line depth is. And, I know we talked a lot of negatives, but Herbert showed some resilience despite being pressured, had that awesome touchdown to Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen still looks awesome. Quinton Johnston still looks awesome. He had that big play earlier in the first quarter. And yeah, so the offense definitely picked it up in the second half and just showing that they can win from behind, right? With the Chiefs and the Raiders, both of those games, despite being close, did feel like they were in control. And this one, they were in control. They lost control. It felt like, honestly, like the game was over, like they lost, and they were able to come back, win the game. Dicker, the best kicker in the NFL. Now, if you saw NFL history, right, highest field goal percentage, minimum 100 attempts. So he's been awesome. So glad we have him. But yeah, so those are the big questions moving forward. Is 3-0 in the division, undefeated on the season, but what does it mean for the future? So let me know down in the comments below. What do you think we do at running back? Do you think we have to get another O lineman? Again, let me know that down in the comments below. Make sure to like the video if you liked the video. Subscribe for more Chargers content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.